Order. The April 4th, 2023 meeting of the City of West Sacramento. Parks and Recreation Intergenerational Commission meeting. And then we're going to do the roll call. Aruj Ahmad. Matthew Hargrove.
Present.
Renee Maldonado.
Here.
Emiliano Rosas.
Present.
Alexandra Galvan.
Present.
David Jans.
Present.
Roslyn Ramsey.
Here.
Don Schatz.
Present.
We have a quorum. We will begin with a land acknowledgement. We would like to acknowledge that the land on which we live, work, learn, and commune is the original homelands of the indigenous people of West Sacramento, who have stewarded this land throughout the generations. We acknowledge and we thank the original inhabitants who have occupied, maintained, and secured this place, and who still exist on this land. We respect and celebrate the many diverse indigenous peoples still connected to this land on which we gather. Thank you. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, nation under God, individual.
Okay, under the General Administration Function, Part 1, Number 1, swearing in of new members. We have Commissioner Matthew Hargrove, Commissioner Renee Maldonado, Commissioner Emiliano Rosas, Commissioner Alexandra Galvan, Commissioner David Jans, Commissioner Roslyn Ramsey, Commissioner or Alternate Commissioner Don Schatzel have all been sworn in. Under item number 2, consideration of selection of a chairperson for the Parks, Recreation, and Intergenerational Services Commission. Staff respectfully recommends that the Parks, Recreation, and Intergenerational Services Commission elect one member to serve as a chairperson. What we're looking for is a nomination, and then first and a seconded, and then an overall vote. Turn your mic.
Mic is on. Thank you.
Go for it.
So as we move forward and do a chair and a vice chair, just a couple things I would like to put out there before we actually nominate and vote is I'd love to make sure that we have some geographic diversity, that if we have a chair that's from Southport, that we look towards maybe somebody who's from the north. And that's in the spirit of the recent redistricting that the city has gone through. I don't know where you all live, so I would need some help on that, but last time I served on this commission, we didn't have the districts, and I would love to especially make sure that we have somebody from District 1 or 2 be represented in the leadership as we move forward. But also we need somebody who's experienced, so I know Dave is there too. So I just wanted to put that out there to start the discussion as we think about this, that we're thinking through the geographic representation also.
When you speak, there is a small gray button on the bottom of the mic. Go ahead and click that. You'll see a green light, and you're ready to go.
I'm Southport.
Broderick and Bright area.
I'm Southport area as well.
And I'm West Staker.
West Marks?
So I agree that in the essence of diversity, the roles of the chairperson and the vice chair essentially run the meeting, keep us on the agenda, and then allow everyone to speak freely and so forth. So I definitely, I do agree with you, and having essentially more than half of the commission new to the commission. Has anyone served on any other commissions? So myself, Commissioner Schatzel, Commissioner Hargrove are experienced commissioners, so that can weigh into your decision as well. And then we can also, I believe it's a 2-year position, right? And we renominate and reelect every year, is that correct?
It's a 1 year, and it will go through April of next year, as listed in the staff report. Yes,
It's a 1-year appointment.
correct.
Okay. So that's about the information I have on the 2 positions.
Well, I'd like to nominate Dave Jans for chair.
I'll second.
Who was seconded? Who seconded? Perfect, thank you.
You said you needed a third?
And now we need an overall
Okay.
aye, nay.
Aye.
Okay.
Aye.
Aye.
Perfect. Thank you. We have a new chair. Okay. Moving on to item number 2 is consideration of selection of a vice chairperson for the Parks, Recreation, and Intergenerational Services Commission. And now Chair Jans, if you would like to go ahead and request a nomination for a vice chair.
I do have a question. Are all members of the commission eligible for the vice chair position?
I believe everyone except for the alternate.
Okay. And who are the alternate?
Don Schatzel is the alternate.
All right. So, is anyone new to the commission interested in vice chair? Commissioner Hargrove and I were discussing earlier that it might be nice to have somebody who's new to the commission kind of learn along with the chair. And then your responsibilities in my absence would be to take over as chair. So, anyone interested in the vice chair position? Anyone new? It's okay. Just ask.
Oh, well,
I would be willing to.
Okay, so we need an official nomination.
Yeah, I would be willing to.
Okay.
Who's going to nominate her?
I will nominate Ally.
Okay.
Any other nominations?
And we need first and second.
Where do you live, Alexandra?
Southport as well.
We do have another support. Okay. If you want to
I
nominate
was just-
somebody else, that's completely up to you guys.
I'd like to. So I was just telling Ally, I've known her since she was a tiny person and would love to see her step into a leadership role. But I would love us to talk about having Rosie or maybe Emiliano consider it.
Emiliano,
Um,
he looks like a good.
I don't want to put too much weight on it. I know we're a commission, but I think in the spirit of where the city has gone in the last 2 years and everything that's happened with the redistricting, I think acknowledging that through these decisions would be great. And I know, Emiliano, you're not only going to be able to handle it, but knock it out of the park. Bright park.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, I wouldn't mind being the vice chair.
Okay, so is that an official nomination over here?
Well, yeah, I think for record, we have 2 now. 2
Okay.
nominees, yes.
Okay, so now we vote.
How would you like that to take place?
So for the first nomination, how many ayes, nays, and second nomination as well?
Okay, so we'll start with you then, Matthew.
What's the first nomination?
We'll go with Ally.
Commissioner Galvan?
Now we're in an awkward
No,
spot.
I take no offense. I'm going to vote for Emiliano too, so it's okay.
Well, so one thing, process-wise, one thing, if that's what you want to do, you can withdraw
Your
nomination.
I would like to withdraw. Thank you.
All right.
All right.
And don't tell your mom and
Just
dad.
need a second.
Second, the nomination of Emiliano.
I do.
Okay. Need a roll call now since I'm chair, or we just go with the yeas and nays again? Okay. Oh. Can we do that? For the comments, last meeting, there was a little bit of a difference in where we were going to do them. We requested at the beginning, but then if the item is related to an agenda item, can you explain that process so we're all aware?
So for this one, because the agenda does not have a chair and a vice chair, and we've established that now during the meeting, the public comments cards or the request to speak can take place, but no comments can be made on it for this meeting until the next one, if it's brought up again.
But the comments themselves will be made at the beginning of the meeting?
Yes.
All comments. So
Yes.
going forward, if they're commenting on an agenda item, do we
They have to wait for the agenda item.
wait for the agenda
Yes.
item? Okay, that was the clarification from
Yes,
last meeting.
sorry, yes.
Okay.
That is correct.
All right, thank you. Okay, so do we have yeas or nays for the election to vice chair for Emiliano?
Aye.
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 All in favor?
Perfect, thank you.
Welcome. Skip for the separate. All right, so welcome to the newly elected and appointed commission, Parks and Recreation and Intergenerational Services Commission. We will start with presentations by the public on matters not on the agenda within the jurisdiction of the commission. So you're aware the commission is prohibited from discussing issues not on the agenda brought to them at this time, according to state law. Items must first be noticed on the agenda before any of us are allowed to discuss the topic that is brought up. So with that, we have quite a few comments. Personally, I love comments, so I love it when people show up and comment, so please do this. I'm sorry, Jim Schubert, is that correct? Welcome, Jim.
Hello, my name's Jim Schubert. I live at 2485 Starting Lane, West Sacramento, resident for 15 years, right across the center from the rec center. I use that on a weekly basis. Have a daughter who's grown up in the rec programs here in West Sac. She's been learned to swim here. She's done the Easter egg hunts. We use the parks, trails, dog park. I've been a WNBA coach. She's currently climbing in the rock climbing wall every day after school at River City High School. She's currently a sophomore at River City High School. Played freshman varsity soccer there. And I'm not saying this because I'm proud of my daughter, which I am, but I'm trying to give you a cross-section of the typical West Sac Soccer Club participant in youth. She's been currently participating in West Sac Soccer Club soccer for 9 years, been to many tournaments, and has a great core coach and organization to play under. I guess the reason I'm here today is to address maybe the lack of facilities for youth soccer in the city of West Sacramento. We do survive. The organization, the coaches have made great inroads with the city staff here at the facilities they do use, a very positive outcome of that. However, we do invest our own money, soccer goals, field maintenance sometimes. And I guess before I run out of time, what I'd like to do is recommend that your commission create a subcommittee on youth soccer for West Sacramento and perhaps agendize a topic for the next meeting to give a better introduction of the soccer club and what our goals and objectives are. And that would be my ask. At the same time, I need to put my money where my mouth is. I'm also a landscape architect with 20, 30 years in park and recreation facility programming, grant writing, master planning, stakeholder outreach, public facilitation. So I'm willing to work with this commission and this organization to help further that pursuit of support for the West Sac Soccer Youth Program here in the city. There'll be other people talking more to that tonight, but I do appreciate the time. I think you have a great, positive, energized organization with 800 or more current youth and hundreds of families ready to move forward to the next level and possibly represent the city in a great way. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate your being aware of the time. I just want to remind anyone who's public commenting that we do, in the interest of time in the meeting that we have ahead of us, that we do try to limit the comments to 3 minutes. So you will see a clock. You should be able to see a clock over there just to give you an idea. We're not going to hammer you too hard, but if it goes on a little bit too long, we might just remind you that there's others waiting to speak, which there are. And the next request for public comment is Karina Orozco. Welcome, Karina.
Good evening, commissioners. It's a pleasure to be here tonight, and it's fantastic to see the newly appointed and sworn in commissioners. This is probably my first time being on this part of the microphone in a long time, and it is humbling to stand before you as a mother of a West Sac Soccer Club player. My son Noah began playing with the West Sac Soccer League back in 2015 when I was a commissioner who sat on the dais on the Parks Commission. And I will say that at that time, Commissioner Hargrove and I sat together and we discussed a variety of matters ranging from park renaming to West Sac Little League battles with neighbors. And it was some of the best times in my experience sitting on the dais, because it's a fantastic commission, and don't tell anyone, but probably one of my favorites that we have here in West Sacramento. I am also very proud to hear the discussion earlier about diversity and representation. That is very, very important to our city, and making sure that there are diverse perspectives that are being relayed. And I'm grateful for Commissioner Galvan's willingness to step forward. It's fantastic seeing a young Latina taking charge so early. I look forward to more of that as you continue on as a commissioner. Thank you. With that stated, I stand before you tonight as a West Sac parent, as a mother of 2 young athletes who are very active in West Sac sports. My son Mateo is on the majors, having started at 5 years old, and living his little league dreams on the field out there, being an all-star, and traveling with our teams elsewhere to represent our city, both on travel ball and recreational sports. But also my son Noah, who, as I mentioned, back in 2015 began his career as a West Sacramento representative, now on our Arsenal soccer team, which is our comp team. And you can catch us on Saturday or Sunday in various cities outside of West Sacramento representing Proud. And I wear this every single time because I'm very, very proud of our city and our boys who have worked very, very, very hard to go out there and play their hearts out against these fantastic teams. I'm not going to speak about any particular issue deliberately tonight. I just wanted to express my support for the parents and the players for West Sac Soccer. As a big sponsor of the West Sac Little League each year, and being at every single game I can, I understand how important it is for young players to be developed on the field. But there are young players that cannot afford West Sac Little League or other sports in our city, and soccer is what's accessible. When I go to these games, I see a predominance of young, a lot of Latinos, a lot of children who are born and raised on our north side of town and don't have the resources to do much else other than play soccer. And it gives me pride to see these coaches and parents going out there and supporting them. And I just want to express my support for those who are going to stand before you and speak on behalf of our community, our soccer community, and find empowerment amongst themselves on behalf of their players. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay. full disclosure, I'm terrible with names. And second, I'm having a hard time reading the name here, but I will spell the last name. I believe it's Edalata. Okay. Thank you.
Hello. Hi, my name is Hussein. I always say that my parents wanted me to learn the alphabet, so they put every letter in my name. My full name is Abdul Hussein Idalati. I'm actually from Davis, California. I've been a 37-year resident of Davis, but I'm a comp coach with West Sac Soccer Club. I've coached with the club since 2016. Evan, who's one of my players, has been on my team since he was 10 years old. He's now 15, turning 16. Yeah. I wear a lot of hats in soccer. I'm a referee. I work for Sac Republic. In terms of what I do with soccer, the work that I do with West Sac Soccer Club, even though it's all volunteer, is what I prioritize because I love working with the kids and I love the families and I love this city, and it's become my community and my family. So I just wanted to read off some statistics. This year we had 800 rec players and 180 comp players. In 2021, 2022, we had 150 comp players. Rec didn't take place, so we had no players. In 2020, 2021, we had 600 rec players and 122 comp players. So generally between 600 and 1,000 youth kids in the city play this sport with our club. In spring of 2022, we did kind of a census, and 80% of our comp players went to Washington Unified School District schools. So we're very much West Sac. Our short-term needs are really safe play fields that are all year round for our kids. I've met with Jason several times. I've met with Chris Froshaw, with Paul, and they're all fantastic people. They're all very accommodating. They've helped us. It just seems like they need more resources because we have Bright Park and we have Summerfield. Summerfield, with this rain, we could not play our games. Obviously, Bright Park has so many dips and mounds that it's just accidents waiting to happen. The track field has been out of commission for 3 years, which is where we would play our 11v11 games. And we just need access to more facilities for players to train safely all year round. I just wanted to list off other cities because I travel a lot with the boys to play games, and almost every city has a nice soccer complex, generally with one turf field and several grass fields. And I'm just going to name a few in the region. Davis has Legacy, has play fields, has nugget fields, has community fields. Dixon has Hall Memorial Park. Galt, I've worked in Galt. I'm a PhD student in ag engineering during the day, and I've worked on a dairy in Galt. I swear there's more cows than people in Galt. No offense to Galt, it's an amazing community. They have Walker Community Park, which is an impressive complex. Rancho Cordova has San Juan, Mather Sports Complex, Granite Regional Park, Heron Landing. Rockland has Kathy Lung Community Park, Margaret Acevedo, William Jessup. Roseville has Maidu and Cocava. Vacaville has Horse Creek. Woodland has Senior Community Center. So these are all very nice facilities, and we don't. And so that's a long-term goal of our club. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Okay, if I'm reading this right, the next person is it Sharon Council? All right. Welcome, Sharon.
Got this on my phone so I can be within the 3 minutes. Good evening, board members. Thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight. My name is Sharon Council. I'm a West Sac resident of 20 years and currently I have 2 daughters that participate in a competitive soccer program in West Sac. I want to briefly share my thoughts regarding the Park and Rec's opportunity to improve the quality of Bright Park athletic fields to be suitable for seasonal play for all soccer players in our West Sac community. My daughters began their love for soccer thanks to the West Sac Park and Recs League, where one daughter was coached by our neighbor and my other daughter was coached by her friend's dad. These were amazing volunteer coaches that wanted our kids to have the opportunity to learn how to play soccer. The girls playing soccer in the area they lived in fostered a deep connection of belonging to the West Sac community. However, several years later, I decided to place my girls in Davis Legacy due to the access of great number of quality soccer fields, hosting tournaments, and the ability to have more home games due to their quality fields. It was a great experience with Davis Legacy, but missed the West Sac community, and for my girls to continue playing soccer with our neighbors and friends in a comp team in West Sac. Upon our return to West Sac Comp soccer, my girls built a positive connection between our West Sac Comp team to our local high school, River City soccer team, which again, they experienced that sense of community. I'm hoping that I and others can spark an urgency for our West Sac community to improve the quality of our soccer fields in Bright Park so that families can keep their kids in the community, rather than going somewhere else outside of West Sac to play sports. Thank you to the board for this opportunity to share my perspective on how beneficial it would be for our community to improve the soccer fields, especially at Bright Park. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Yolanda Villegas. Welcome, Yolanda.
Good evening, esteemed members of the Commission. Thank you for the opportunity to speak to you this evening. I am also a longtime resident of West Sacramento and have been an educator for 28 years. My father was a member of the first crop of police officers for West Sac PD back when the city was first inaugurated. My daughter has attended kinder through 12th grade at Washington Unified and is currently in her first year at Cal Poly SLO. Additionally, my husband, guy in back there, was born and raised here and is also one of the coaches for West Sac Comp. As an educator, I see firsthand the positive impact that organized sports have on our underserved youth. And so what I'd like to do is take the angle of providing context and awareness to our community of all of the efforts that our city elected officials make on the behalf of their constituents. So back in September of 2012, the Bright Park Master Plan was reviewed by the PRIS Commission, and the City Council assigned a top priority to this plan back in 2010. In August 2016, the Bright Park Improvements Plan was submitted to the Governor's Office of Planning and Research, the CEQA division. The plan included the construction of 2 new soccer fields. In November 2016, the city approved the General Plan 2035. A priority was set to establish and maintain parks to meet the needs of West Sacramento residents and their visitors. In April 2019, our City Council adopted the Parks, Recreations, and Open Space Master Plan. Soccer and Bright Park are mentioned throughout. A 3-tiered approach organizes projects in this document to be accomplished over a 10-year span. Amongst those listed are the Bright Park Master Plan and opportunities to help meet the athletic field needs of our community. In September and December of 2021, the city was issued a check in the amount of $1.5 million from state funding and $7.84 million through Prop 68 funding. The press releases highlighted the city's first all-weather sports field with lighting and improvements of play fields at Westacre Park that can be used for soccer. In April of last year, Parks and Recs provided an update on major projects. Listed as an immediate health and safety need was to improve athletic fields at Bright Park. The completion of the Bright Park Master Plan, including Phase 3, was also mentioned. We know you're committed to making our parks not merely a nice-to-have luxury, but rather a critical aspect of what makes our city a vibrant and prosperous community. We hope to establish a positive relationship with the city to support youth soccer in West Sacramento. Thank you.
Thank you, Yolanda. All right, next we have Rico Novoa.
Good evening. My name is Rico Novoa, obviously. Kind of going to give you a broader perspective. I'm the head of the competitive soccer program here in West Sac. I'm also the vice president of the recreational program here in West Sac. My father, Richard Novoa, actually founded West Sac Soccer in 1974 as a 4-H club that played right behind Holy Cross Church. So I hope to kind of bring you an all-encompassing perspective. As a club representative, a son of the founder, a father to players in the club, a coach, an alum, and a lifelong resident of West Sacramento. Our mission is to provide high-quality, high-level playing opportunities to our youth, as well as molding productive, confident, and good human beings. all while limiting the cost of this notoriously expensive sport. Over the last few years, we've been able to deliver that at 1/5 of the cost of our neighboring clubs. In 2010, a census was conducted, and 31% of West Sac households had a median income of less than $39,000. So our mission is critical to these families, as is the rest of our community. We are consistently making a positive impact on these kids, keeping them engaged, offering them resources, guidance, etc., while hoping to one day reap the benefits of creating future contributors to the sport as well as contributors to our community. West Sac Soccer is the largest youth sports group in the city, registering, as Hussein mentioned earlier, over 800 kids on average per year. But currently we're forced to create these opportunities for these kids at 2 parks in the city. And as we only have 2 accessible soccer-specific fields, however, these fields aren't even accessible all year round. Due to the lack of safe playing options and field availability within our city, we are kind of handcuffed. Our main park, Bright Park, is, I would say, completely unsafe, and more than 50% of the park is unplayable for our needs. And that goes to golfer holes and mounds and things that the ball has to actually roll on the ground, so we can't actually do that. I know firsthand because I tore my ACL at Bright Park on a field issue. So I've experienced these issues. Luckily, it was myself and not my players. But for years, we've heard about master plans, we've read the documents, and we've seen the plans firsthand, but nothing has been delivered. And in all honesty, our parks have just deteriorated. It sounds a bit straightforward, but it's the truth. Especially when COVID hit, it seemed like it was a ghost town and nothing happened. We ask that the Parks and Rec Department and the city as a whole focus more energy and resources to providing our youth more accessibility and safer playing fields. I don't believe any of this was done intently, but we're just hoping to bring awareness to you guys. I will admit that the hiring of Jason has been phenomenal, and he's been a pleasure to work with, and he's been really, really guiding us and assisting us into getting these parks turned around. But as we've met several times and acknowledged, this is going to be a lengthy process. With the support of you guys, this could be sped up a little bit. We hope to start putting faces and, most importantly, a voice behind West Sac Soccer. That's why we're here today. Our goal is to establish a positive and collaborative relationship with the city to support youth soccer, but as well as all sports in West Sacramento. So I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you, Rico. Okay, I'm going to mispronounce this, but because there's a on the top of the E, but it's Remie. Is that correct? I apologize. Eva Schubert. Please tell us your name.
Good evening, Parks Commissioners. My name is Rami Diva Schubert. My husband, James Schubert, was the first to speak. I just wanted to briefly ask for your support in bringing the bringing more facility for the comp soccer. My stepdaughter started playing soccer, learning the sport at the age of 4, and now she plays for Rico for our comp soccer team Aztecas, and she's now 15. I'm realizing that we're doing more driving, traveling outside of West Sacramento, for example, Arizona, San Diego, Davis. And I'm just thinking future-wise, we could be bringing soccer here in West Sac. I just don't see why we couldn't use, like, say, West Acre or Bride or even the high school, because there's a really nice green turf or the artificial turf. It's just such a, what is it? It's like such a good income generator to have an actual competitive soccer weekend happening here, because you're only, right now, we're just, our hands are tied in that we're just playing with what we have. And a lot of those fields, as Rico has said, has a lot of potholes that my husband and I have actually, my husband has worked tirelessly on some of those. I think he worked on Bright, and then the other one was on Summerfield. So it would be really, really great if you guys could support this really good opportunity for the kids in our West Sac. You know, it teaches them not just the sports itself, but teamwork and confidence in yourself. And I think that is very important as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Rami. And I apologize if I mispronounce anyone's name. I know we're not allowed to comment by law, but I will say that I appreciate everybody who made comments tonight and that we hear you. Okay.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
If you know, through the chair to staff, and this is a request as a returning commissioner, who I know at one point we did have lots of discussions about the state of the different play fields. I know coming through COVID, there's a lot of issues there, and I know there was a big study done on the availability of playfields in the different neighborhoods. So I wonder if through the chair, I love public comment like this, but you can't engage. And I have so many questions that I would love to engage on. Is this possible for us to have a future agenda item? I know I can't put that on there, where we talk about playfields and invite all the different clubs back. We can walk through the playfields and actually have some engagement. So I just want to put that out there. I know it's probably already being planned with the staff, but it's frustrating not being able to engage on some of these when we have so many good folks in the audience.
Commissioner Hargrove, we will be bringing the Bright Park Master Plan RFP update, and that's probably going to have a lot of solutions for many of our problems. Field improvements are pretty amazing with the all-weather soccer field. That might be a really good time to engage, and that'll probably be coming in June. So maybe at that time.
Mr. Chairman, if I may. The community also suggested a subcommittee be formed to work with soccer. We might consider that on the agenda. An upcoming, just to respond to the comments we.
Noted.
Thank you both for that. I appreciate it. As part of our agenda, we will be reviewing what happened last year, and then we also, for everyone's information, we will have, which is one part that I really enjoy about the commission, is an opportunity for everyone to communicate, and that can be on any item you'd like, anything you've been participating in, anything you'd like to see on future agendas. It's kind of an open forum for each commissioner to speak. So I would encourage all new commissioners to speak on what's been going on, anything that's impacting you, anything you'd like to see on the future agendas as well. Yes, go ahead.
Are we supposed to introduce something we'd like to you, or?
Yeah, you can go through the chair, or you can go directly to the parks representatives of what you would like to see in the agenda. You'll see we end each meeting with communications from the commission. And at that point, yeah, you can have an opportunity to update us on what you've been working on the last couple months, or what you've been involved in, and any issues, anything positive. It can be really anything you'd like to see going forward as well.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. So we will move on to item number 5 on our consent agenda, which is the consideration of approval of the minutes for the February 7th regular meeting. I do have a question, since 2 of us were present. Were you here last meeting? One of us was present last meeting. Thank you all for coming. I appreciate it. I encourage you to keep coming. One of us was present. How would we vote on the approval?
I think we're okay. I think we're okay.
You just proceed as normal. It was in the packet. You received the packet ahead of time, a chance to review the minutes and what was included in that meeting. So you're just voting on whether we can approve it and move forward from here.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Of course.
Okay, so item number 5 would be the consideration of approval of minutes of February 7th meeting. Assuming everyone is familiar with it, we have a vote and a roll call. First, a motion to approve.
So moved.
Commissioner Schatzel, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you.
We have the roll as well, right?
Yes. Oh. Apologies. Arouge Ahmad, Matthew Hargrove, Commissioner Renee Maldonado,
Aye.
Vice Chair Emiliano Rosas,
Aye.
Commissioner Alexandra Galvan,
Aye.
Chair David Jans,
Aye.
Commissioner Roslyn Ramsey, Alternate Member Don Schatzel.
Aye.
Thank you. All right, moving on to item number 6 of our regular agenda, which is a presentation 2022 year in review from our very own Paul Reyes. Welcome, Paul.
Good evening. Thank you, Commissioners. It's welcome and congratulations on your appointment, and welcome back to those I haven't seen for a while. So it's great to be here. My name is Paul Reyes, Recreation Manager at the West Sacramento Recreation Center. I brought my team here, and we're going to talk a little bit about the 2022 year in review. A lot of great things after the pandemic era, but they can talk a little bit more in depth on what's going on with their programs. But we'll talk a little bit about the center. The West Sacramento Recreation Center joins partnership with the Washington Unified School District to provide a quality-oriented, comprehensive year-round program of diverse recreational opportunities. The West Sacramento Recreation Center will provide recreation and wellness opportunities that encourage health, exercise, relaxation, enjoyment, cultural enrichment, and learning. It is the intent of the West Sacramento Recreation Center to develop partnerships with private sectors, providers offering like services in an effort to enhance the provisions of these services to our community. And some of our missions, so what our team tries to do is provide this mission statement, foster an atmosphere that supports, motivates, and encourages participants in a lifelong pursuit of health and physical activity, provide opportunities for individual development of knowledge, interests, and behaviors that promote and contribute to healthy and well-rounded lifestyles. We try to provide a sense of belonging and meaningful approach to life, focus on educating a community by helping them to better understand the benefits of overall health and physical wellness, provide quality facilities, provide equal access to recreation and exercise facilities, regardless of social class, race, gender, or ability, provide fee-based programs that are flexible and affordable, and be recognized and utilized as a significant community-wide community entity. Some of the recent facility upgrades back in 2021-22, we did the tennis court resurface in August of 2021. You can see the color of the photos there. We did the pool slide plaster in 2022, and we also did the slide stairs as well. And then some of the upcoming facility upgrades is the competition pool replacement lights, LED lighting. We should be doing it here very soon. The slide refurbishment project. So we'll, after 13 years now, so we'll get those refurbished. And then we're also going to be doing the tennis court light installation in November, and that includes a French drain. So those are some of the upcoming programs or upcoming projects that we're doing. And then I'm going to pass it over to Brandy, one of our recreation supervisors.
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Brandy Dion. I am the Recreation Supervisor of Health and Wellness over at the Rec Center. I have been here for all of about 2 months, so I'm going to give you the year in review from what I have been told. This evening, we're going to talk a little about the Rec Center, health and wellness, athletics, aquatics, youth enrichment, and also the special events that our division takes care of. So Rec Center, we sold quite a few passes last year. This was coming out of COVID, and so a lot of our staff were still very hands-on, on the ground, teaching classes, and just really active on the forefront. So they weren't so much planning, we were actually implementing the programs ourselves. We have 3 different insurance programs that we work with, which is Silver and Fit, Silver and Sneakers, and Renew Active. These are available for seniors through their insurance plan. And what's really cool about it is it's no cost to the patrons. And so we bill the insurance company, and then at the end of the month, we get a check. And it's really great to be able to offer a free fitness programs for our senior population. Standard Rockwall programs operated last year where we had open hours in the evenings and we had some classes and workshops throughout the year. And we got some really cool new equipment. And so we were able to add a significant number of new weights to the facility. The bottom right picture is a Smith machine, which is an automated machine that helps you do bench presses and a squat rack as well. And so the bar is automated. We got dumbbell racks. We got 8 more bikes. So now we have a total of 16 bikes. So we're able to do a spin class of 16 back in our Kinesis studio. And all of our old equipment actually went into our personal training room. So our personal trainers can utilize the equipment with their one-on-one or their small group training sessions. So all of it was still used and still incorporated within our facility. And then we have our drop-in fun. So we have an air hockey table, we have foosball, and we have a ping pong table. We had a Wii, remember that white little video game thing from several years ago? Well, we've recently updated it, and so we're really excited that we just added the new Nintendo Switch into our rec room area. So health and wellness, pre-pandemic, just to give you an idea of where we were averaging about 55 classes throughout the week. So coming out of the pandemic, Jake, who is our coordinator for health and wellness, he actually led several of these classes. So we had over 20 group exercise classes last year that incorporated spin, yoga, cardio lift, strength classes. The team put together a mini triathlon that had to do with swimming, biking, and then they had a strength-based competition within there. And then we offered a couple specialty workouts. So Jake did a 12 days of lift miss, and Satu did a ABBA reunited workout party and a couple other special events like that. So moving forward, our plan is to have monthly specialty workouts throughout the month. Throughout the year, we'll have monthly specialty workouts. Our mini triathlon will stick. We're going to continue to do that every Thanksgiving or post-Thanksgiving, so we'll do our little turkey try. And this year, we're already up to over 30-plus classes, so you can see that we're making a significant push for additional classes within health and wellness. And now I would like to bring up our athletic team.
Thank you, Brandy. Well, good evening, commissioners. Thank you for this opportunity tonight for us to talk to you guys about all the wonderful athletic programs that we have. First off, I'd like to introduce myself. I'm Chris Frosthaug. I'm the recreation supervisor. A little bit of background about me. I've been in the athletics department since 2007. In 2014 is when I took over as the supervisor of the department. I also like to say it's a great honor to serve the community that I live in, that I've lived in the past 20 years.
Hello, I'm Tori Torres. I'm the new recreation coordinator. A little bit about myself. I've worked here for about 7 years. In October, I just recently got promoted to the coordinator. So I'm kind of excited to share the new things that I've been doing here.
Okay, as I said, thank you for this opportunity to share all the wonderful programs. In 2022, the athletics department went back into full swing since COVID-19. All we saw our numbers in our programs increase in both the adult and youth sports programs. And we're going to go ahead and share with you a little bit about each of the programs that we offer. Tori's going to go ahead and start with the youth program.
So to start up, first up is one of our bigger programs, is our summer sports camp. So in 2022, we kind of went back to regular programming. So first year we went full back to swing after COVID. It's a full day camp, Monday through Friday. It goes 8 weeks in the summer. And it goes ages 5 to 12 years old, split into 3 different age groups. Last year we had a total of about 465 participants. each week can go to like 100 kids, but it's a lot of kids returning back, different ones for the different weeks that we have. They do about 2 days of sport, or 2 sports a day, and then they do other activities like rock wall, swimming, Zumba, and one of their favorite ones that we really recently found out is our yoga class for them. And then this week, actually, we have our spring sports camp going on. We brought that back for the first time since 2017, and we have about 49 campers signed up this week. So our next one I'm going to talk about is our Junior MBA program. It's probably our biggest program that we have. This past season was the largest season that we actually had. We had 670 participants, which we created 70 teams out of. This also goes from ages from 5 to 14 years old. A big props to the 120 volunteer coaches that we had volunteer this year. Not only do they just volunteer because their kids are playing, some of them don't even have kids playing and they just want to volunteer their time to help out our community. Oops, I clicked the button on it. Sorry. The next one I'm going to talk about is our Teen Hoop program, which is currently going on right now. This is a co-ed basketball league for ages 13 to 18 years old. We currently have 6 teams made up of 65 participants. We're actually really proud this season because 12 girls signed up, and that's the most we've ever had in a season. This is an 8-week program, and all games and practices are held at the rec center. Next, we have our Junior Giants program. This is actually one of the programs that is completely free for any participant who signs up. It is completely funded by the Junior Giants Community Fund. It's actually one of the longest running youth programs that we offer here. We're one of the first founding cities to join, so we've been going for 29 years now with them. I'm actually excited because this will be my first year running it, and I actually started in Junior Giants when I was a little kid here, so I'm pretty excited for that. This actually, Junior Giants not only just tries to teach the kids baseball, but it goes, they have like a reading program throughout the weeks. They try to do like a strikeout bullying. So teaching the kids mainly to do teamwork and working and with other kids and developing not just on the baseball field, but off the baseball field as well. Next, I have NFL flag football. I think Commissioner Jans is kind of familiar with that one. So that was my first program here running it. It's ages 5 to 14 years old as well. We also had one of the biggest enrollments this past season with 198 participants, which made 18 teams. This program is about 9 weeks long. All games and practices are at multiple parks throughout the city, and games are on Saturdays at Bridgeway Lakes Park. We had 34 volunteer coaches this season, and we actually got to host the area tournament this year at the River City Stadium, which was really fun. We worked with Fair Oaks and CSD to come together and bring back the tournament since before COVID. I think it was 2018 was the last time we had that. That consisted of 22 teams, and between the 2 championship games, 3 out of the 4 were West Sac teams, so that was really exciting for us. Our 8 to 10 Bills team brought home the championship for that, the division they played for. And then lastly, youth tennis is a year-round program. In 2022, we had 590 participants, and that kind of goes to big props to Coach Dave Brooks. I think we get so many people wanting that program because he's such a great coach all year round for our youth.
And a couple of things I want to say is I am really happy to have Corey as my coordinator. I think she does an outstanding job. Again, like you said, she's only been with us for 6 months. It's a nice job. One other thing I wanted to touch on too is about the area tournament. I've always been a part of the NFL flag program through the years too, and then always went to the area tournament. But one of the things I always did when it became the championship game is I always did a speech about the history of the area tournament, how it started. And I just wanted to bring it up that one of our the founder of the area tournament is our very own Paul Reyes. So I just wanted to make sure I throw that out there. And again, I do bring that up before every championship game. But next up, we're going to talk about our adult sports programs. So the adult basketball and adult volleyball is our two largest programs that we offer. I'm going to first talk about first to talk a little bit about the adult sports programs. Each season typically lasts 11 weeks. These particular two programs, they go year-round, so we have 4 seasons each year. And the adult basketball league is, I just have to say, it's a huge program. This program is a regional draw. We have teams that come from all over the greater Sacramento region, the Bay Area, San Joaquin County, and beyond. For the past 10 years, we've averaged between 50 to 70 teams each season. To put that in perspective, you compare it to other leagues within our own region, like Elk Grove, Woodland, Davis, Rancho Cordova. On any given season, they may average anywhere from 24 to 26 teams. This past season, or I should say the current season, we have 69 teams registered. Our basketball league is played on Sundays. We end up starting at 8 o'clock in the morning, and the games can go all the way until 10 o'clock at night. And we play the games at River City High School, Recreation Center, and Riverbank Elementary. We offer multiple divisions, and we just recently started a 35-plus division. So as you can see, it's a very popular league. Adult volleyball league, this is also a very popular league. For the past 12 years, we've averaged between 25 to 30 teams each season. In 2022, we had 2 seasons where we had 44 teams registered. The one thing about this league is that if you want to get into the league, you're going to have to jump on that registration right away. The past 2 years, the registrations, once we open it up, it sells out within minutes. So as you can see, it's a very popular league. We offer multiple co-ed divisions, and the games are played on Tuesday and Thursdays at the Recreation Center. So next up is our Adult Flag Football League. I started this league back in 2007, and ever since it's been going strong. We run 3 seasons a year in this program. In 2022, we had 39 teams registered, and we had over 400 participants. All the games are played on Sundays at Bright Park. And then next we have our Adult Softball League. This league has been around for years. Even our own very own Paul Reyes was in charge of the league for a few years. Sorry, Paul. And I'm sure some of you guys that grew up here, I'm sure Commissioner Schatzel, Commissioner Hargrove will remember too that the softball league has been played at Bright Park. I don't even know if maybe you guys have played in it. But so the league runs for 2 seasons a year. This past year, we had 66 teams registered with 850 participants. We offer both men's and co-ed divisions, and games are played throughout the weeknights at Bright Park. And then last, we have our pickleball and tennis programs. So as I'm sure you may have heard, pickleball is now the fastest growing sport in America. And I have to say it's no different at the Recreation Center. We have people asking about pickleball every day, asking when we're going to host clinics, how can we get more gym time, more court time. We currently have drop-in pickleball inside the gym at the rec center and outside on the tennis courts. Each day we have the drop-in, we average between 25 to 30 people ready to get their pickling on. So we're, I know, I got to use some of the, the cheesy pickleball slang. So, it works. But one of the things I was going to tell you, that the thing that makes pickleball so popular is that all ages can play it. And it's also a very social sport. And I also was going to throw out there, if any of you are ever interested in learning how to play, feel free to reach out to me. I'd be more than happy to teach you guys the game. It's a lot of fun to play. And then lastly, the youth tennis lessons, or the tennis that Tori mentioned earlier, we also offer adult lessons. We have a very popular 9 for 90 program and for the adults, and these programs are taught by our tennis instructor, Dave Brooks. And yeah, I think that's it. So thank you very much, guys, for the chance to present to you.
Mr. Chairman, can I ask a question?
Okay. We have a for them.
Yeah, they do.
Chris, Tori, there's a question for you from Commissioner Schatzel.
You were talking about basketball and all the sports and the attendance and how the numbers have gone up. Why? Why do you think?
Well, in terms of the adult basketball league, I mean, it's always been a big draw. I mean, even since the Recreation Center opened. You know, the volleyball league, again, I just think a big part of it is we have a very nice recreation center. I mean, one of our philosophies there is we want to make sure that and this another tribute to our manager Paul Reyes is we want to make sure that facility stays looking like it's brand new. So you know, I think the participants just really enjoy playing there. Sure. You know, and we have a great opportunity too in the basketball league where we have connecting gyms that makes it, you know, convenient. So you got you got River City High School that's right next door, and you know, and then just some of the I guess some of the rules that we put in place. You know, you can, as long as you don't skip divisions, you can play on two teams. We've created a free agent program that if there's individuals that are looking to join a team, then we find teams for them, and that has actually brought in a lot of teams too. And then again, I know we hate to use this word because it is a rec league, but it's a recreational competitive league. So they do like the competition too that's out there. So they say it's one of the most competitive leagues around.
Do we have a non-resident fee?
We do.
We do.
So
we
do charge.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we do. I have to say, with the adult basketball league, that's probably the one league that we have the most non-resident teams, and we do collect extra fees from them.
Yeah, and it's easy to get referees. That usually is the hardest thing for everybody is to get referees.
We do. Well, luckily, we have the largest officials contract with the Officials Association, so in the region. So they make sure that they take care of us, and they make sure they're providing officials for us.
Cool. Good. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks, Commissioner.
Commissioner Hargrove also has a question.
Chris, just a quick question.
I'm so sorry.
Don't leave so quickly.
Since the evening started out with soccer, I'm curious, you didn't mention the adult soccer program. I know I played the adult soccer program a few years ago. I was on the Wicked West team. We went undefeated. It was great.
I do.
But what happened to the adult soccer program?
Well, first off, a lot of the people that came up here and spoke tonight, I work with them, and I do remember them playing in the adult league too, like Rico and Memo and some of the others. But just kind of the same thing that we talked about is that the fields that we were playing on, it got to the point where it wasn't a playable, so we just weren't able to host the league. We're hoping to bring that league back here in the next year or two, but that's because one of the reasons why we just didn't bring back the league.
I mean, that's a real concern. I did not know that when I asked the question, but knowing that our city is pulling back on offering rec soccer for adults because the fields are unsafe, I think that elevates the conversation on this. So thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you. Any other questions? Cool. All right. Thank you, commissioners.
Richard Navoa Sr. used to be on this commission. And he was a very important member of this commission long ago. And he was always talking about soccer and baseball, and boxing, and but he was you mentioned that, and I wanted to respond. He was a good guy. He was a good member of this commission. So, yeah.
Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Liz Hughes. I'm the Recreation Supervisor in charge of aquatics, childcare, and rock wall at the Rec Center. So it sounds like a lot, but I like it. So, all right. So first we're going to talk about aquatics. In 2022, it was my first full summer back as a full-time employee of the city. I was a longtime lifeguard, swim instructor for many, many years. And I had the opportunity to come back to be the recreation supervisor in charge of aquatics. So 2022 we were able to bring back a lot of the aquatic programming. Almost all of it. The only reason maybe we didn't bring as many swim lessons as we possibly could was I was still looking for qualified staff for that. But these numbers were, we were still elevated from 2021. So we were on the up and up on getting our numbers back. So swim lessons, we served over 1,500 participants in our swim lesson program, and that was just summertime alone. And a very small fall lesson season. So we were happy to do that. So we were providing 10 swim lessons at each of our 5 time slots in the morning and 10 swim lessons at 5 different times in the evening. So we were able to get higher numbers than we saw in 2021. We were able to offer rec swim 7 days a week again, as well as full rec swim. It was drop-in program. You pay either with your membership or your day passes. As well as lap swim continues to go year round. It is a strong program. They are a very vocal group of people, and you will see them. The diehards are there at 5:30 in the morning every single morning. As well as we are still doing our special events at the pool. So recently, even just this past Saturday, we had our Soggy Doggy event at the pool. It's a really fun event. It's super cute and fun, where we let the dogs come in and swim in the pool and just essentially have, you know, dog park rules in place so that they can enjoy the pool. And this year, this winter, I was able to bring back our youth water polo clinics. We haven't had those in many, many years. I am fortunate to have several staff that are passionate about water polo, as well as they are students at River City High School, so they ended their season and really wanted to grow the sport. Their idea is they want to get these teenagers and younger interested in water polo so that River City will always have a feeder program for water polo. We still coordinate with the West Sac Dolphins, so their season is starting up here next week. So we will be still sharing some pool space with them, as well as they do their March, they just finished up their March spring swim clinics with us. And then of course, with our lifeguard training, last year I hit the ground running and offered as many classes as I possibly could, being the only lifeguard instructor we had. And I did offer 3 separate classes. I can do 10 kids in each class. So we did trained 30 new lifeguards, and of those 30 lifeguards that went through our program, I believe 28 of them we actually did hire on. A couple of them, they just were from out of town. But otherwise, for swim instructors and lifeguards in general, we hired over 30 brand new lifeguards last year, and hopefully can bring another 15 to 20 this year so that we can continue to bring back as many swim lessons as possible. All right, so I'm also gonna call up my coordinator, give her a little introduction here, or let her introduce herself.
Hi, my name is Claudia Salcedo, and I am a recreation coordinator at the Rec Center.
So with her help, she helps with all of our youth programming at the Recreation Center, mainly in childcare and our Rockwall area. So with childcare, we have officially opened now. We're back to 6 days a week. Monday through Thursday, we have hours in the morning and in the evening. Fridays is still just mornings because Friday evenings are, no one's working out really on Friday evenings. And then Saturday mornings. So we're happy to bring all of that back. Claudia was really beneficial in implementing our Parents' Night Out events. So we have one Parents' Night Out event every month. And we first started out with just 20 kids, and now we're up to 30 to 35 kids each month doing these Parents' Night Outs, where they do more active recreation. So we have a theme or a focus each month. It could be depending on, like Halloween, they were doing carnival games and doing more active-based recreation. And then for instance, this last month, they played dodgeball and loved throwing balls at each other. So, and that's for ages 6 to 12. So we had a great turnout, as well as we're starting to use some of the lifeguards that want to still participate and still, they love working with kids. They also assist Claudia with those Parents' Night Outs, and they love it. What about, you know, cool. You don't have glasses on.
I can't read it. Yeah, so we have a teen after school program at the Rec Center, which goes on Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So it's free for any River City High School student. They drop by after school, and so Monday we focus on rock climbing and bouldering. Tuesday we do a little bit of strength training before they love to rock climb and boulder. So we try to give them at least a couple of minutes every time they're there. So they'll start off with strength training and then go to the rock wall. Thursdays, we've been trying something a little different. We try new activities every week to see what kind of catches on with them. So we've tried anything from like volleyball to arts and crafts. So we've tried everything, and then they'll go again to the rock wall and the bouldering because they love it. And then we also get food provided by the district, snacks for them. But yeah, it's been growing. I love that they keep bringing their friends into it every single time. Like one of them shows up with a new friend, and it's slowly growing. So we've consistently had about 10 kids the past, I want to say like month or two. And so it's growing, and I love seeing it grow. So.
As well as this past summer, we brought a new program called Rec on the Move. It was essentially a way to take free recreation programs to Bright Park. We started doing it in summertime, so it was only 2 hours on Tuesdays and Thursdays, where we would honestly just bring out anything. We'd bring out arts and crafts supplies, we'd bring out basketballs, soccer balls, hula hoops, frisbees, whatever a kid might be interested in, as well as in coordination with the school district and our kids camp. We also would provide lunch for anybody that was at our program on those days. It was, again, free to the public, and we did get consistently, there was several families that kept returning week after week. So we will continue that program this summer as well. As well as we had a very successful, this last summer in July, we had a very successful, Learn to Skate camp. So it's 2 weeks in summer in July, so usually the hottest month of the year. But at both weeks, it's a 1-week program, Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to noon. So we're trying to get in and out before it gets too hot. And this year, I didn't actually contract a skate instructor. I had 2 lifeguards that are passionate and really wanted to teach little kids how to skate. And they took it and ran with it, and they did phenomenal, and they will be back this year to do the same thing. And that program did have anywhere from 24 to 30 kids in it. Oh. So we will continue to provide that as well. Okay, special events. So I talked a little bit about our Soggy Doggy event. Is that your dog? I'm in the picture. Oh. Yes, you are. So our Soggy Doggy event, we have it in the spring before our leisure pool and slide pools open for summertime. And then we have it at the end of summer, so usually in the fall, so either late September, early October. And that does bring out a big draw of anywhere between 60 to, this last time, there was over 130 dogs registered. We do have Yolo County Animal Services come out and educate people on licensing their dogs, and they do have fun giveaways for them. So we'll continue to do that program. Another one that is actually coming up this week, this Saturday, is this Earth Day and Spring Celebration. So if you're interested and want to come out, it's on Saturday at 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. at Bright Park. So our part of it is we do the egg hunt, the spring celebration part of it. So we put out eggs for kids to hunt. We have 3 different age groups, and in each age group there is essentially a golden egg where they get a bigger basket than just the candy that's in the regular eggs, as well as we run the arts and crafts parts of the day. Otherwise, we do partner with recycling and waste management to run the Earth Day and Spring Celebration event total. So you will see other things that promote Earth Day and recycling and all things trees and good things for the environment. And then something that at the pool that we did last summer and we will continue to do is our dive-in movie nights. Those are real fun because it's a chance to swim at night versus only in the middle of the day. And slides are open as well as our activity pool, and the kids love horsing around in the middle of the night while a movie is going on. So this last summer we showed Finding Dory and Big Hero 6, and I think one more, and I can't remember what it is. So we actually had 3 because we threw in an extra one when that heat wave happened in early September. So we did get a nice turnout for all of those events. And yes, Dave is planting a tree with the Girl Scouts and our arborist, Dave, oh my God, Colbertson, thank you. I know I wanted to say something. Wanted to say a different C last name.
Can I just make a comment or real quick while you're on the special events slide?
Yeah.
A couple commissions ago, possibly, maybe last year, I don't know, we talked about invites for the commission to these special events. So, in fact, that's how you see me in the West Sac Little League hat, and I believe maybe the same shirt I'm wearing right now. But it's through inviting, just letting us, making sure that we're aware when the events go on, and I would encourage the commissioners, if you're available, to attend these events. They're really great. You get to see what the Parks Department, along with the, they coordinate with outside groups. One time we did it with, I think it was Davis, one of the Davis tree places, I don't remember the name, apologies, but they were out of Davis and we planted trees at one of the parks. This one I believe was at Bright Park last year. It's just a great way to get out there, see the community. You can kind of see what they're involved in, you know, talk to people in the community and just kind of let them know what you're doing, get some feedback from them, things like that. So please make sure that we're aware.
There is a calendar agenda too, which gives you kind of a heads up on what we've got going on.
The electronic one we received, because
Yeah, the very back page of it actually has future events listed on it, just to keep you in the know.
okay. And when they come up too, just if it's something that you think the commission would get a kick out of seeing or something, like just a little reminder here and there would be amazing. I just wanted to say that. And so thank you for doing all this. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. And of course, our last and one of our bigger events is our Safe Trick or Treat Street. So obviously with COVID, it became a drive-through event, but this last October, we made it more of a actual trick-or-treat street. And I like to call it more of your farmer's market type style, where essentially we took, with partnership with River City, we used their parking lot, and essentially we had 3 or 4 different rows, clubs from River City, all of city departments participated, and essentially they were able to offer candy and games and just general resources to the public, while they also got to dress up in their Halloween costumes and essentially trick or treat at each one of the booths. And so we will continue to do that. This one was highly successful, so there were somewhere between 800 to 1,000 people in attendance, and the event was on a Saturday from 11 to 2. So we will still do that one again this year. It'll be the last Saturday in October. Can't remember the exact date off the top of my head, but literally the last Saturday before Halloween. So, and then with we're gonna lead into our upcoming stuff for 2023. So since we're already in April now, shocker, this year we were able to bring back our fitness challenge. It's the first one we've been able to do in person. We did a few virtual fitness challenges during COVID that were successful, but this time we kind of changed up the format, and we had 21 participants in this last fitness challenge. And of those 21 participants, usually sometimes people drop off midway. They saw almost everyone finish all the way through. So they changed up the format a little bit. And as you can see, pass sales are continuing to go up as we continue to offer more and more programming and try to offer as diverse programming as we can by utilizing almost every square inch of the rec center. So more programming. We started one of our personal trainers is doing a rock climbing conditioning class, which is on Saturday mornings. And it started out slow, but now she's got 5 or 6 people that are consistently coming. Training for Life is something that Jake started. They are small group personal training sessions. So instead of being in your big, massive 30-person group class, you're now in a class of less than 12. And you get to do more physical fitness, actually lifting heavy weights, not necessarily just doing cardio kickboxing or just a light cardio and core class or something along those lines. I'm going to talk about Kinder Climb.
Yeah, so this past Saturday was the first Kinder Climb we held. So it's basically just like a designated time for toddlers, ages 4 to 6, to learn how to rock climb. Both of our staff, or no, one of our staff is there teaching them and guiding them. This past Saturday, which was the first one, I believe, I saw about, seven kids on the roster. So it's not bad for being our first one. And it's slowly picking up with the next couple of ones. And I heard great feedback from our staff. He said it was very organized, it went well, and we also got some good feedback from the families themselves. So hopefully we'll be able to continue these classes.
As well as we have started to do instead of your paint and sip, it's a paint and snack. So it's essentially those paint nights for youth. We provide the snack for them, whether it's, it's a water, some sort of fruit, and pirate booty or some sort of light snack with it. And the instructor can hold up to 20 kids in her class, and she has sold out every class we've run so far. And so with that, it was the ages were 6 to 12, and now she is going to offer also a teen class. So we have a 6 to 12 age group, and then a 13 to 17 age group. So those will be held at the rec center coming soon. As well as we continue to update any new routes at the recreation center. Our contractor, Killian, has been educating our high school staff that run the rock wall on how to best set new routes, how to do it properly, and make challenging and making courses for all ages and all abilities. And then, of course, looking forward to after this month and on, is we are working on what the area we are calling the rec room. And so if you've ever been to the recreation center, it'd be anywhere there's a glass partition behind our customer service desk that leads towards the rock wall. So anything from the glass all the way before you get out to the pool deck. We're calling that our rec room at the moment. We are working with the teens to see if they want to name it something different, but they're not so creative on that front. But we're trying to work with them. So there'll be some supervised activities in the evenings, mainly from 5 to 7. There'll be different days, Mondays, basically Monday through Thursday, where parents can essentially drop off their kid if they are the ages of 8 and older, to participate in quick start tennis, maybe a Nintendo Switch tournament, climbing lessons. We are starting something, I don't know if anybody knows about Magic the Gathering. It's kind of a obscure, I don't know, is it a sport? I don't know.
I'd say card game, but
it's a card game, I would think.
Yeah.
So Jake is one of our coordinators who's not here tonight, but he is an avid player of Magic the Gathering and wants to spread the knowledge to all the kids in our community. As well as Claudia and one of our other staff are working on hosting some Scout badge program nights where Girl Scouts and Boy Scouts can earn small little badges by attending workshops throughout the year. So we have a few of them set up for the summertime and into the fall. We already mentioned teen snack. You want to mention Tiny Tot?
Oh, yes. Yeah, so we're working on getting Pee Wee Sports started up at the rec center, sort of for the younger kiddos. We're looking at doing maybe, so each month a different one. We want to start off with like a basketball one, maybe do a indoor soccer one. And so I'm still working on that one, but hopefully we'll see it in the next couple of months, because I know a lot of the parents were interested in doing something for the younger kids, for like little babies. So that's one of the ones I'm working on.
Otherwise, group exercise, we are always looking for new instructors. We have recently hired a few new ones. So there's going to be, hopefully Jake will be able to get this off the ground and running, is an instructor kind of boot camp. So training people that are avid members in our current group exercise classes to see if they want to maybe try out and, co-teach a class. And then hopefully maybe they want to become instructors and get certified. And that way we can create more in-house instructors. And then we will bring back our Healthy Huddle Up seminars. So hopefully we can get people just in general more knowledge about health and wellness throughout the community. And of course, much, much more that's probably not on this list. So if not, these are great pictures of our staff, as well as the top one is at skate camp this past summer. So do you have any other questions? Otherwise, I think we wrapped it all up.
So for the new commissioners, at the end of a presentation, we'll usually provide for comments, questions, anything you'd like to talk about. And as chair, I'll usually start from one side and work this way and then switch to the other side. So any questions down here or comments or?
All right. I'm just amazed at all the things that the rec center has to offer. I'm an active participant. I'm one of those 5:30 swimmers, and a strong advocate for soccer. And I just love all the integration of all the different activities and different levels, age groups. You guys do a phenomenal job. I don't know how you handle it with all the things that you offer, but I just want you to know that I'm really grateful that it's there and that you all seem to be very, very committed to doing a good job there. And, you talked about what attracts people to the center. It's the culture. It's the people. That's why you're growing so much. The word is out there. I know whether I go to the Nugget, or go to Target and run into a swimmer there that I go to at 5:30 a.m. We all are kind of like grateful and amazed that, you were all so nice and you opened that door at 5:30, and so committed. So I just want to thank you. And one of the reason I did join the commission is because I want to give back and see how I can, strengthen your efforts. And I'm just impressed with the young people on the commission here and support their leadership and their involvement. So anything I can do, I certainly will be visiting some of the events and get to better know what it is you really do. And very interested in seeing how soccer really grows here in West Sacramento. I had a son that both my children were in soccer, particularly my son. And as a single mom, I really appreciated that soccer and taekwondo were an active part of my son's life. And now he has two sons, and they've been raised in soccer. So it really helps to keep kids focused and, take care of their bodies and their minds. So I'll see how I can be supportive of soccer as well as in general. Thank you for all you do.
I just would like to say you guys are a phenomenal team. As somebody who used to work for the Parks and Rec Department in the Kids Zone and Club West, the youth and teen programs, I'm always just blown away at the amazing work our Parks and Rec team just can accomplish, especially given the timelines of some things where things are like, oh, right, we need to throw an event and we need to throw it next week. So you guys are just really good and really quick and really swift at addressing those our community needs, and I'm just really just blown away. Oh my gosh, the Learn How to Skate program is amazing. My day job, I work with a lot of nonprofits in Sacramento, and one of the nonprofits I work with is all about teaching kids how to skate. So I would love to connect with one of you guys, and I could give you guys their contact info. Perfect. And you guys could definitely, possibly start a partnership with this nonprofit, just amazingly. I think the rec center is just doing amazing work, but I would also love to get an update of what's going on at our community center. So like our Club West, Kids Zone programs, I would love to see, get an update on, you know, how that's going. Just general programs that are happening at our community center, I would love to just get an update on where we're at with that. But overall, you guys are amazing. Just, you guys are the definition of a dream team. So thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Also, great job. I do have a question. Do you guys notice that participants for these programs are coming from all like locations in West Sac? Is there a way to know if it's like mainly people in Southport, or because I know, you know, the rec center located in that area, it's probably easier access to people in that area, but I'm wondering, are we reaching out to, you know, the majority of West Sac?
We do try to reach out to the majority of West Sac. Our registration system, we can pull numbers based on zip codes.
Mm-hmm.
That is the nice thing about West Sac, that there are 2 zip codes, so we can pull that data. I can speak on the aquatics program, that unfortunately it's maybe only a third of our participants are coming from the north side of town, just due to lack of accessibility. But I'm sure it's probably more 50-50 more for some of our youth programs, youth sports.
It depends on.
Okay.
Here in VA, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
maybe in.
Okay. So yeah, I'm not sure if we can get those numbers.
Yeah, we can gather that data and bring
Okay,
it out.
I feel like that would be helpful, just to ensure that we're reaching that population, people who may not live close to the rec center or know about all the events there. Also, I want to ensure that we are taking, you know, our mobile events, for example, like Rec on the Move, to all different parks.
Yes.
Things like that.
Yeah, initially we were going to try to move it from park to park.
Mm-hmm.
Ideally, we were trying to hit Bright Park and then Westfield, but then with Westfield and the school, and then now they're doing construction over there.
Okay.
So we are looking at other opportunities to move that specific program around, for
Okay.
sure.
Awesome. And I love all the different programs that you guys are working on. I have an idea. So I see a lot of the programs are definitely sports-based and exercise-based, which is fantastic. I did notice you guys have maybe dance coming up, dance classes, maybe some things for the artistic folks in the community, maybe programs possibly like dance or singing or knitting or things like that. I don't know, just some ideas.
Yeah, and some of those programs do occur at our community center. And
Okay,
I think Connie
awesome.
is working on a presentation.
Yeah, if you get an update for the community center, he's Sporty Spice and she's, what's the other, non-Sporty
Non-Sporty
Spice.
Spice.
So he does the active, you know, the hardcore athletic
Awesome.
stuff primarily, and she's the performance arts and, you know, the music.
touchy-feely.
Yeah, it's just, so when she brings her an update to the commission, you'll get that other perspective, the sort of the passive recreation.
Okay, sounds good.
Yes.
Thank you.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Are there scholarships for families that can't afford to have their kids participate in soccer or any other programs?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
What's that?
For our youth programs, we do
Okay, great.
Yeah, it's a 50% scholarship. So whatever the 50% of that particular activity, but it's mainly for the youth. Yeah.
And how do the parents or the families find out about them?
At the moment, it's more
They just ask.
word of mouth.
When they ask, we'll support that.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This one's for Chris. First of all, I just want to make sure you know that Paul Reyes was there at the creation of the rec center. I believe he was the aquatics.
As you were too.
I believe he was the aquatics manager at the time. So that's another first for our community that Paul was a part of. But seriously, I got involved with the rec center because I was involved with the swim team before the rec center was built. I'm privileged in that my kids were 4 years old and 6 years old when the rec center kind of came online. And I got to really have a lot of interface with the rec center as it was coming online with Paul over trying to figure out how to move a swim team to the rec pool. And I've said all along, you know, the transition was never easy for something like this, but city staff back then was always fantastic to work with, accommodating, even with grumpy parents. And I found that continues to this day. But the thing that is amazing is as the rec center was being built out, and when it opened, there was not a lot of programming there in the beginning. And this presentation that you've given tonight about the programming at the rec center is mind-blowing for somebody who has, you know, been following pretty closely the amount of different programming that you give. I did not know that you did 4 different seasons for some of the rec sports. I assumed it was just one and done, and it was over with. That's a level of management and sophistication that is just to be commended, Chris, and your whole staff. And then as part of disclosure, I want to make sure folks know my wife in the past has been an instructor at the rec center. She may be again someday. And then also my daughter is a current employee at the rec center. So that's disclosure for me as a commissioner. Disclosure for me as a dad, though, is she looks forward to going to work. She is happy when she comes home from work and tells me all the stuff you guys do all day long. Not talking out of school, but seriously proud of the work that she's doing and that you all are doing at the rec center. I want to make sure I pass that along to you as kudos. It's just a joy that we have such a facility in our community. But I do want to, you know, Ollie's point is right. How do we, and this is something we've talked about for years, is making sure that we get engagement from non-Southport folks. And that was an issue when the rec center was coming online. And that's something we've tried to figure out, solve, and resolve all throughout the years. And I know the city's done a lot of things, everything from free VIA rides in the summer, to reduced programming, to targeted mailings to certain neighborhoods. And you guys just got to keep doing it. I know you hear it, but you just got to keep pushing that forward, getting the word out there. I love the program that you're taking the rec center stuff to Bright Park. That's fantastic. Hopefully we'll have a pool at Bright Park at some point. And I know that that's something that is really high on my mind, that we as a community push that forward. I do remember when we used to have 2 pools in the community. I used to hop the fence on one of them. But that's something that's high on my mind, and I think that to the extent that this commission and all of you as staff can focus policymakers, the budget folks, the voters, when something comes up, that we do need some hardscape facilities north of the barge canal, and especially north of the railroad tracks. But thank you very, very much for everything that you do. The rec center is just, it's awesome, and this was a great presentation. And I'll come back and connect with Chris, because I think that you should go talk to Rotary or Chamber if you haven't done that, and share this type of information, because I think that those are groups, I know you have a Rotary member here that will be interested in knowing what the city's doing in this area, and talking about it is fantastic. So thank you very much for being here, and thanks for the great presentation.
Thank you, Commissioner.
I would like to ask a question of you. First of all, let me say how great a job you're doing. That's really phenomenal. But I'm kind of curious how handicapped children or children with autism, especially children with autism, we have so many more cases of it now, or maybe just more seeing it. We're seeing it more because parents had to, you know, do homeschooling, mandatory homeschooling for a year. But are they just incorporated, or are you thinking about another program for perhaps them for, in, say, painting, or just to start wherever they can?
Yeah. Well, in general, all of our programs are, anyone can join any of our programs. Specifically in aquatics, I do have specific lessons that are labeled as adaptive lessons. They are essentially one-on-one lessons, but they cost the same as a group lesson would be. So that those individuals that do need, an extra set of hands or just more one-on-one attention, that swim lesson program is offered for them. But otherwise, the community center and Christine Prater runs the Our Spark program. Our Spark program is for recreation for all those with any kind of disability, learning abilities, and they do lots of those field trips and programs specific for to cater to any needs that they do have. And I know she's big with Special Olympics and doing all of the fun things that Special Olympics has to offer for her, for all the kids that require those needs. And I'm sure she can give you a much more detailed, I only gave you a small snippet. But again, when Connie staff come and do their update, she will give you a much more thorough explanation of what our Spark program is and entails.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. I think my daughter must have learned how to be a lifeguard when Paul was in charge. She's now a lifeguard for Disney Corporation in Florida, and I think she learned how to do that here. Yeah, actually. I think the soccer folks will find that this commission is very supportive of soccer because of our background and things that we've done. I mean, I was a high school soccer coach, and I coached at Summerfield Park in the same league for 6 years. So, as other commissioners have said, I think we're very involved in soccer. The department used to have after-school programs in apartment complexes in town. So you were saying how you were taking the programs out along that same philosophy. We actually had programs in the Bright Firehouse prior to it burning down. Sandalwood apartment complex. We had programs there after school to try to reach out to a variety of people and cultures and all of that. That was long ago. But I have, Paul, I don't mean to blindside you on this one, but you had when you came to our Rotary Club years ago, you had some great information on the amount of percentage of these classes that are 100% or very close to self-supporting. It was not completely dependent on the general fund, which people sometimes think. And why aren't you killing the gophers at Bright Park? And why aren't you planting more trees? Because you're putting all the money into the rec center. Well, no, in fact, the city is not putting as much tax dollars into it as you might think. So do you have any idea what percentage of, I know it was a big number, of programs that are self-supporting? You know, whether it be the basketball program or the swimming program or...
Well, I'm not necessarily the percentage. Part of our book of fees is that the 100% recovery for adult programs and then a minimum of 50% for youth programs is per our book of fees.
Right.
So anywhere between 50 up to 100.
Sure. Okay, good, thanks. And then of course, was approved by the city council, and that's how you assess the fees. Yeah, so it's not constant, let's raise sales tax and it all goes to the rec center. There are fees coming in that defray that cost. Okay, thank you. Thanks, guys.
I'll be brief, but as a newly official pass holder length, you know, and I was buying day passes before, but my son is now getting into weightlifting and fitness. And so for those of you who know me, I kind of follow my kids on whatever path they want to go, as a lot of parents do. So he likes baseball and flag football is where I met Tori and worked with Chris. And it really is a phenomenal center. So, I mean, we were going there, and I just told him, I said, you know, I've been a gym member enough times in my life that if we continue to go to where we're going more than the breakover point of the membership, then we'll do it. And of course, he pushed me that far. So we go at least twice a week to the rec center, and I've noticed two things. One is it's very clean, very well maintained, so you should be very proud of that. Every time you go in, it's the same. I never see anything really, deteriorating, and there's a lot of sanitary wipes in the gym that people seem to be using really well, which I'm very appreciative of. The weights, there's a good variety of things to use, and then of course there's all the other things that you brought up that are in that center itself. So you should really be proud of yourselves, and I know, Paul, you're getting a lot of love tonight, and but you really are doing a fantastic job, all of you, with all the programs, and so I always look forward to this presentation to kind of shed a big light on everything that you're doing, because it really is a lot. It is a lot of stuff that you guys are doing in this community, and to see how the community responds to it with the numbers that you provided, it's just, if this were to go away for whatever reason, or any of these things were to drop off, you can see how many people would be affected by it, just in their day-to-day life. So yes, I just wanted to say thank you. I was going to bring it up in my commissioner communication, but I feel like this is a little bit more appropriate to bring up here. So one thing I do notice is, and it's a positive thing, is how many young people attend just on their own. So we tend to go at a time when he gets out of school, which is a little earlier than his older sister. And we kind of break out around 3:30, 3:45, because so many teenagers come from the high school directly into the rec center. And so as a father, I see two things. One, it's great that they're going in there to use it. But two, it's, I didn't have that kind of resource growing up. And for me, where I grew up out of high school, is a dangerous thing to have a lot of free time before parents get home from work. And so what you're providing not only is all these programs, but you're providing kind of a way for teens to do something positive, keep them busy, to get them interested in new things, to find new talents. And so I just kind of smile every time I leave, because I see how many kids are flowing from high school directly into the rec center, in the locker rooms, having the conversations with their friends and getting ready for their workout of whatever program they're going to start doing. So it really is a fantastic thing, unique to West Sacramento. And as a local realtor, I actually use the rec center as a kind of a staple. And I'm like, you gotta, if you're here in West Sacramento from wherever they're from, you gotta drive by, go down Jefferson Boulevard, you'll see the water slides. That's this fantastic rec center. And it's very affordable if you're a resident here, and they have all, so I really speak your praises to people who don't know, who aren't from West Sacramento, as almost a selling point, or at least a point of interest for them to at least go see it. Because just by walking into it, you can see how fantastic it is. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Questions or comments for the group before we move on? All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll move on to item number 7, which is our administrative function part. And this is one of my favorite parts, which is the commissioner communication. I spoke on it earlier. You're not obligated to speak, but if you have something you'd like to share to the commission or to the general public, this would be your time to do so if you have any things you'd like to see. So since we started there, we'll start on this side. If you go ahead and raise your hand if you have a comment, and I'll call on you. And Commissioner Hargrove, go right ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And it's so great to be back serving on this commission. It's near and dear to my heart. I've served on commissions for many, many years in West Sacramento because I think they're very, very valuable. This is the legal interface where residents have the ability to come in and talk with other residents and send messages to the city council and to the staff. So I think there's a lot of value in this. I do remember the days, I also used to serve on different commissions, where we would go months on end without anybody ever coming to a commission. There would never be any public testimony. There would never be clubs coming to talk about issues. And so I really appreciate all the folks that were here tonight and all the staff that were here tonight, because if you don't come, we won't know. I would not have known that there was issues at that level at Bright Park. There's always been issues at Bright Park with the grass there. But learning what I learned tonight is, I think that is opened my eyes a little bit as to where that is, and I will do what I can to advocate that we try to fix that. That's not acceptable. And I know there's reasons, and the gopher holes at Bright Park were huge in the 70s when I played on the Redskins football team there, and they are still. I played for Coach Massey, those of you who know him, and they're still bad. They're not as bad now as I think as they were then, but they need to be addressed. And that leads me to just in terms of commissioner communication, some of the things that I as a resident feel are important that I will be keeping my eye on is pushing along the Bright Park Master Plan. Even though we now have districts and we ostensibly are representing our own little slice of the city, I think that the Bright Park Master Plan and Bright Park is an overarching issue. That's a regional level park. We should be treating it as a regional level park. I know we are on the path to doing that. It's not easy to do this stuff. You heard somebody mention earlier, as part of the Bright Park Master Plan, you have to go through a CEQA process. Well, any of you that know anything about CEQA, it's not a quick and easy process. And we just need to keep pushing it. We need to push it forward. I believe we're in phase 3B of the Bright Park Master Plan. I might be wrong there.
Well, when we bring you the RFP, the feedback, we're looking at designing the entire master plan, including a pool.
Okay.
$31 million, we have about $15 million identified right now, multiple funding sources. One of them actually is federal, so we're gonna have to do NEPA in addition.
Okay. So thank you. So so I've served on this commission before. This has been a push of mine. Again, I mentioned that my mom used to work at Washington High. I spent time on the very, very stinky fields, the football field at Washington High, though it was a badge of honor at the time, and it's a great memory that I have. But Bright Park is a regional park, and we need to make it be a regional park, and there's issues that we just need to work through as a community. So that's something that I want to focus on. Also, citywide issues are trails. The thing that drives me crazy about West Sacramento is we have always been very laterally segmented as a community. So growing up, you had Roderick and Bright, you had the middle older section of West Sacramento separated by the railroad tracks and by the freeway. Then you have the barge canal that separated Southport. And I've always lived in the Westmore Oaks neighborhood. That's where I grew up. And I've just always felt that vertical separation as a city. And I do think that the recent things that Parks and Rec and the city has been able to do in terms of trails and connecting the neighborhoods, everything from the new setback levee trail to the trail that will wrap all the way around our city and connect Todd Hunter to Peacock Corner. And if any of you know those two references, then good, thank you. That is important. I also think that the trail that we have, the Sycamore Trail, that will connect Bright to Southport is extremely important. And the example that I always give on that is when my kids were growing up, I would have never allowed my son to ride his bike to Bright Park to soccer practice because you had to deal with trucks and the freeway to get there. And so we need a safe way for teenagers, not little kids, but teenagers to be able to get from Golden State or Riverbank, is that what we call them now? I'm calling it Golden State. Get from Golden State Riverbank to the rec center and do that safely where they're not having to ride on the same street as trucks going 65 miles an hour. And then the last thing locally that I hope to focus on as being a commissioner is the older neighborhoods don't have parks the same way that the newer neighborhoods do. And that's just a function of how city planning happened. In the 50s and 60s, we did not have a city or a local government that set aside large swaths of land that were then developed into parks. And that's why you have neighborhoods like Westmore Oaks, West Acre, Roderick and Bright don't have as much land to do parks on. Southport does have that. When I was a kid, the city formed a partnership with the school district. And my park growing up was actually Westmore Oaks Playfield. It was just open. You got to use them. Those have been closed off. 9/11 was the excuse at one point, but there's other reasons there. And I know that the city is working with both Westmore Oaks and Marshall High or River City High, depending on how old you are, or new old Westmore Oaks, to do parks in both of those places. And I'm very, very supportive of the city being able to partner with the school district, make investments like Bright Park. That's going to be, the pool's going to be on school district property. And in some of those older neighborhoods, opening up more parks, more partnerships between the city. We have them all over the city already. But I hope to see that happen at Westmore Oaks and River City also. So thank you. That's more time than out there, but I really value what all you do at Parks, because it does make life better. Thank you.
Well, yeah, I'd like, since I'm living in that area, I would like to see more access to the trails. I'd like to see us having more parks. And I also wanted to mention that there's going to be a groundbreaking on Thursday. Does anyone here know about that? Sycamore Trail Extension Phase 2 groundbreaking is going to be Thursday morning at 10:30. So, you know, those kind of things I feel like it's important for us to go ahead and get at least involved. I don't know if I'm just uninformed or just uninformed, but I'm not sure exactly where the Sycamore Trail goes, but I'm going to find out all of it as time goes by. And thank you all for all the work you've done.
Thank you. Commissioner Schatzel?
This evening, there's been so many comments made about so many things that, I mean, being from the Parks and Rec profession, I've always said that if you don't have a good Parks and Rec department, all your community is a giant hotel. You eat, you sleep, you work, repeat. And everything that I saw here tonight is a difference between a real community and a giant hotel, right? And you guys do such a terrific job on everything that is going on, will go on, has gone on. We're talking about the regional park at Bright. Right across the street is Alice Norman Bright. You put the whole thing together and you have a giant regional park. This was when the senior center was being discussed, moved from Cummins to where it is now. It was the same conversation we have about the pool. Well, gee, if you shut down River City, right, when that was a pool, and you shut down Golden State, and you put a pool in the middle of town, what about all the people that used to go to those pools when they were there? The same conversation was held about the senior center. If we move it, if we shut down the senior center at Cummins to where it is now, what about all the seniors that went to the senior center at Cummins? Now, they kept the elderly nutrition program, which is good, but there's still a lot of seniors in that neighborhood that don't come over to City Hall to address your point. I have some other questions too, because we have baseball people and soccer people here. I think I'd like to put on the agenda the player fee we charge, that this year went from $10 a player to $18. And I think this commission would, at least I would, because it impacts so many people. We talked about fees, the affordability of the programs, going from $10 to $18, and now we're being told it's going to go up again. I think this commission ought to weigh in on that a little bit and be able to express some opinions at a later agenda item.
I'll look into it and get back to you.
Yeah,
if that works.
Good. Okay. And when I'm out and about in the community a lot, I have an increasing number of people asking me about the naming process, why we name parks, how we name parks, streets, byways. And increasingly, people are suggesting to me that, what about the people on the wall right there? It's not that what I'm hearing in the community is they're not having a problem with the names, but we're ignoring people on that wall that are the reason we're here now. Ray Jones, Fidel Martinez, just look at the wall. Cindy Tuttle used to be the director of this department and the mayor and on the city council. So the whole naming process I'd like to get on this agenda sometime. And
I can share the policy with you because we have a formal policy for naming.
yeah, that would be
I can
great.
share that
And I
with you.
think part of what's happening is when I'm out and about and I'm talking to softball people and Rotary people, there's just a lot of information out there that is not entirely right. I mean, I heard that that it's going to impact our park at the port, that the city's in the business of shutting down the port and going to go into the warehouse development business. And then there's a bridge, but all of that, wherever that is in the planning phase, if we can get some kind of update on that, that would be helpful. The Pheasant Club, we're hearing things about, it's a museum which falls into the responsibility of Parks and Rec because of the Art, Culture, and Historic Preservation Commission. I'm hearing that the fire department's going to move in there. So if we could get an update on that at some point.
I may be able to give you an off-the-record update.
Yeah.
But I
Wanna
need to
call
check
me or
in with
something?
maybe our former director to find out what the policy is on that. So I'll definitely make note of this.
Whenever I go out, people are just talking about stuff all the time. And it would be beneficial, I think, to the staff and to the mayor, to the council, if we have facts about stuff where we can tell people, that's related to Parks and Recreation and intergenerational stuff that we do, so we can get accurate information out to the public, to help people have a better understanding of what's going on out there. And maybe I think I'm done. But great work, everybody. It's been fun. It's always fun to see your report and listen to the commissioners here and get a better look at their background and what they're doing. This is going to be a fun group, I think, because we're coming from so many different directions and influences. I think it's going to be cool. So thank you. Thank you. All right. Thanks. I'm done. Thanks.
And thank you. Anyone on this side of the table have a communication they'd like to share? Or no? Okay. Oh, we have two. So we'll start on that side with Commissioner, Vice Chair, Rosas.
I'm just super excited. I just want to commend Commissioner Hargrove for, in the sense of equity and just making sure it's equitable across the city and making sure that we get representation, from all parts of our city. So I'm super excited to step in as the vice chair for this commission. I always like to emphasize, because I'm just a strong advocate for our youth and for, letting our young people know that you guys are the next generation and, you guys are the next generation leaders. So I'm proud to say I'm 21 years old and I'm going to be turning 22 in August. So anything is accomplishable. Your age is just a number and it does not define how far you could go. I'm really, really proud to sit up here on this dais with all these people, with these great, amazing people and community leaders. So I'm just really excited to hit the ground running. Bright Park is another one of my projects that I'm really interested in, especially because it's one of the largest parks on my side of town, Brighton Broderick. And I know I've been getting a lot of calls, texts, community members just really interested to see what's going to be going on in the master plan. And I know a pool is a really big topic of discussion, so I'm really excited. And I commend our park staff for putting together that master plan, so I'm really looking forward to it.
Thank you, Vice Chair. Commissioner Galvin?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, thank you.
What do I want to talk?
You're not obligated. It's your choice.
I think I want to talk about communication. I want to talk about how are we communicating all these awesome things that we're doing. Does everybody in West Sac know about it? I don't know. I feel like maybe we can be more active in how we communicate all of our programs, all of our fun community events that we have. I don't know if I should bring up social media, but I'm on social media pretty often, and I feel like even so, I'm not seeing all of these awesome things that you guys have just talked about. And I want to make sure that, everybody in our community, who knows, we could have a whole bunch of people out there who love pickleball. They just have no idea that it exists here. So that's just one example of communication. I think that we should really be so proud of West Sacramento that we are sharing all of these awesome things. Everything that you guys showed us today in the presentation, everybody in West Sac deserves to see that. Those are fantastic things for our community. So maybe that's something we can think about. How are we sharing all of these awesome things with our community?
And I can speak to that really quickly. We have Brandy Dion is new with the department, and she's done a great job of getting us on social media. We've got a very, very robust website, but we're on Instagram now, or we're Insta. We've got Facebook. We've got a bunch of different social media accounts that we work with. So we push the events, the programming very heavily, and you'll get to see as you move forward with the commission that we also have a very active and robust community engagement effort. When we had, Commissioner Hargrove was he was a huge help with the Prop 68 push. So we are very active in marketing. We used radio, we used the newspaper, social media. We were very, very active in door to door. We took the flyers door to door, talking to the residents to make sure that they were engaged and involved. So we are very, very hands-on and very concerned that our residents are aware of what's going on in their neighborhoods and in their community.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I'm not texting. I have notes. I'm trying to save paper. So she just made me think of something that I wanted to add to it. Okay, I'll be brief because I know it's getting a little late. But I'll just kind of speak real briefly about the purview of kind of the commission and kind of my experience. This is my third appointment, and if I believe, first one I felt was like 2 years. Did it change to a 1-year appointment at some point in I don't remember when, but anyway, I think it's my fourth or fifth year on the commission, and I'm very proud to be a part of it. It's a very exciting commission. I think we'll have a lot of fun. I have the last few years, and this is a commission that's been a lot of fun. But some things that I've noticed about the Parks and Rec department and what I've seen presented is really we have a fantastically talented group of people who are able to obtain grant funding for a lot of these projects. And you'd be surprised because the dollar amount to build these things, to build these parks, to build these structures just continues to climb. And so part of what I've took on as an obligation of myself as a commissioner is to really kind of understand and take note to the grant funding, where the money's coming from to pay for these things. Because as Commissioner Schatzel pointed out, there's a lot of talk in the community and some of it's wrong. And so I'm not encouraging you to confront people, but when you hear something, you can just say, actually, it's not your tax dollars. The Parks and Rec Department or whoever was in charge actually obtained $11.7 million through state or federal funding to build this park. And very little money, I've noticed, not very little, but the ratio of grant money to city funding is far away. The grant money coming in. So they're very, very talented, very aware of the different grants and the different nuances on how to apply for the grants. And so I would encourage you also to pay attention to those nuances, because if a new structure or a new park is built and it's lacking something, it may be because the grant would prohibit them from putting that in. Or if there's a piece of art in the park and people are going, well, what's this doing here? You say, well, actually, in order for them to obtain that $11 million, it had to include some sort of decorative art structure. So again, I'm just kind of giving you some of my experience to help with some of the rumors or some of the talk, and you just kind of speak to it because you're considered to be one of the more knowledgeable people in that area. That's part of the representation here on the commission. And then also, I think you do a fantastic job of providing community engagement. So a lot of the new projects that'll come up, you'll see there's always consistently opportunities, multiple opportunities for the community to come in, engage, provide input. And so you'll see in these new projects, the presentations that are being put forth, they will actually have multiple options, and you can actually see the community putting stickers on the things they like, and you'll see that all of that input is actually weighs into the decisions and the presentations from the architects or whoever's been designated to design the project. So I think to echo what everyone I think is continuing to say, you do a fantastic job, and it's actually a lot of fun and very interesting to be a part of the commission. I was trying to find a way to talk about the roads in the purview of the Parks Commission. So here's what I've come up with. As we address the roadways, which I know have got hammered this winter, should it come up in grant funding, state funding, gas tax, however that money is coming in, I think to Commissioner Hargrove's point, I would like to see some thought put into how any new road construction would include bike lanes, pedestrian access to go through those roadways. Because really, I mean, and this is a little bit of a stretch, but the roadways are how we reach our parks and recreation, right? This is how we kind of, don't look at me like that.
Okay.
But it is how we and they are deteriorating quickly. So as part of the presentations go forward, I think how we access our parks and recreation is a big part of it. What's that?
To maintain the roads.
Exactly.
Make sure we don't have to overly maintain our park maintenance vehicles.
Which is actually the next thing I was going to talk about was the staffing of the Parks Department. I know in my experience, there's a lot of work being done by not enough people consistently. So a lot of the issues that we have with the fields, the field maintenance, and then furthermore, as we develop new recreation, new parks, new areas to play in, those come with more additional maintenance to keep them in the condition that they were in. So, you know, the last park we have is a very grand project. It's at West Acre Park. That's a fantastic project that we put a lot of input into, but it's going to be another maintenance thing. So I don't know if it's grant funding, if it's discussions, but the staffing of the Parks and Rec Department, I feel needs to increase, or if there's a solution there to try to figure out how we can add more staff, more equipment to help Jason do his job. I know that seems to be something that we desperately need in our community to help us maintain the parks at the level I think we all want them to be at.
And I'd like to respond to those two last statements or questions. So I want anybody who has a question about anything, feel free to email me directly and I'll get a response to you so you're not, giving somebody the wrong answer, you're not misinformed. We have recently, and Jay can attest to this, done an analysis of the current staffing levels based on the inventory of parks that we have. And at this point, this is not even including the new West Acre, which is coming online, which is going to have incredible facilities with new amenities that are going to require a different level of attention and oversight, another water feature, a pickleball, probably tournament space. I mean, it's for programming. Without those new amenities, without Bright Park, which is going to be a living, breathing animal itself, we're 14 FTEs understaffed. So this is something that's being taken to council to understand that there's definitely an operational gap.
Fantastic. That's good to hear. Because I think, I don't want to speak for the other commissioners, but I certainly see that in this, and I see the future task that's going to be put on top of this department. And it's not going to be maintainable without an increase, in my opinion. So I would certainly support that. So if there's anything I can do at those meetings to come and talk about it, I'm happy to do so.
Thank you, Commissioner Jans. And to add to that, in all of our RFPs now that go out, we do add like a life cycle replacement cost element to it. So West Acre has a 25-year replacement cost built into that. Bright Park will as well. So we know when these amenities are going to need attention again.
Fantastic. I did not follow up, and I apologize in advance, but I know that the council was, or I'm sorry, not the council, but the Planning Commission was reviewing the Yarborough Development Agreement, which includes a golf course and some other park and rec as part of that development. I was not sure if that was approved to be extended or not, but if it was, that might be something that I know, we haven't had a golf course here since Lighthouse was closed and developed. I'm curious if, I think it would be a fantastic addition to our city, and if that golf course is developed, would it be a city responsibility? Would there be revenue generated from the golf course, or would it be a privately owned space? And if there are any parks as part of that development, would those come under the maintenance schedule and of the Parks Department, or would that be contracted out?
I can look into that. I think that some of these items I can probably incorporate as part of my director's report.
Fantastic.
Maybe that'll be a better way of responding to these rather than creating a whole agenda item, but maybe responding to these items as part of my report next time.
That'd be
if
great.
That works.
That'd be great. Thank you. And then lastly, so I'll say this delicately, but I'll just tell you my opinion on some of the comments. I know it's a very popular and worthy topic is the difference between recreation and community in the north and the south. And I think part of that has to do with the history of the city, as Commissioner Hargrove pointed out, of its corporation and the planning that went on before we were a city, which was fairly recently, when you think about it, the whole timeline, and the things that are available. I 100% agree that amenities should be accessible to everybody. However, I guess what my opinion will typically come from, and my opinion can change, so please, I encourage you to debate with me, to disagree with me. It's all fine and good at any time. Is that I feel that our parks, our recreation, our amenities should be as diverse as our population, that we shouldn't think of having one amenity in the south, therefore we need one amenity in the north. And if we have something in the north, then the south should also have that. I feel like we should focus our efforts when we develop these projects to have unique and diverse recreation that fits our entire community, and that the solution, in my opinion, should be more based around transporting and providing adequate transportation for people to go visit those things. So for example, taking Yarborough into consideration, if there's a golf course, which is going to be probably at the furthest southern tip of our community, doesn't necessarily mean that the northern end of our community should also have a golf course. We just need to find a way to make those amenities accessible to both of the communities so that we're all one community of West Sacramento, that we have unique and diverse facilities, playgrounds that are unique, water features that are unique. And if you want to visit those amenities, then we need to, as a group, make sure that we have, as Commissioner Hargrove again said, access the Sycamore Trail, bike access, pedestrian access, so that people can move freely through the city to go to a soccer complex, right? That's maybe in the farthest northern end, to the pool that's in the southern end, and think of our developments that way. And that's just, again, my opinion. But you'll probably hear me kind of echo that a little bit throughout as we look at developments and master planning. So that's my communication. If there are any other comments or questions, we can move on to the next agenda item. And I'll introduce myself to all the new commissioners after the meeting, get a little history about me and how long I've been here. I think I've officially been in West Sacramento. This summer will be more than half of my life I've spent here. So I'm not a lifelong resident, but I have spent more than half of my years on the planet here in West Sacramento. We moved here back in 2002, early 2002. And we did that based off of a city master plan that we found online. And we said, look what they're building here in old West Sacramento. This is going to be a fantastic place to be. So we purchased a house and we've been here ever since. So it's just a great community, great community. All right, so moving on to item 7B of the administrative function is the director's report.
Erin Rivas, and I am the Parks and Recreation Business Manager. I am functioning as an interim co-interim director with Jay Chahal while we're waiting for a new director. So I'll be giving the director's report tonight. I'd like to welcome all the new commissioners. The Parks, Recreation, and Intergenerational Services Commission is by far the most fun commission. Just so you know, the recruitment for the new directors actually it's just been closed, and they'll be doing interviews over the next week or so. And so Jay and I will be the point of contact in the meantime. I wanted to let you know that the Southport Levee Trailhead project is currently in construction. The Heritage Oaks Master Plan Design contract was awarded to Melton Design Group in the beginning of March at the council meeting. Really excited about that. The Bright Park Master Plan Design RFP has closed, and I don't know if we've announced the award quite yet, but we have somebody in mind. And so that will go to, probably the contract should be awarded in April or May. West Acre Park is currently in design, and the 35% design plans are expected in the spring. The Southport Levee Trail is at 65% design, or it will be in about a week or two. We'll have the 65% design plans, and that's going to go ahead and it's going to add 5.6 miles of Class 1 bike trail to our citywide network. And that concludes my report.
Fantastic. Well, thank you, everyone, for attending. With that, item 7C is the adjournment of the meeting. So I would like to call at 2021 hours, if I did my military time correctly, the adjournment of tonight's meeting. Do I have a Commissioner Schatzel move to adjourn? Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Vice Chair seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
We're off and running.